Alright, what's up guys? Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at RTA from a fighter's perspective, trying to break into Conq 1. I had someone ask, how do I break into Conq 1? And on my account, I haven't fought in Conq 1 in a long time, so I thought we would work on my alt account and see what it looks like. The only restriction here, let's take a look. So we're currently fighter 3. We're at 15%, which is rank 34,000. So I think we need to get in the top 7% to get into Conq 1. Let's take a look. Season reward, Conq 1, top 7%. So we basically have to pass up half the people in front of us. And that's not going to be easy for this account. Also, I think it doesn't make sense to go with my Molong or go with my Yonhong, since those are both really broken top tier units. If you have those units, definitely use them. They're going to take you a long way. Any of those units like Gani, Hathor, anything like that. But for us, we're going to use pretty much like free-to-play sort of options. And then based on that, you can fill in with whatever you have available that's better than just your standard free-to-play. So let's get a few matches in, and we'll talk through the theory, the strategy, things we can do to help kind of tilt the balance in our favor. That's one way to do it. If your opponent leaves immediately when you queue. So that guy's downranking, and he's probably trying to get as low as he feels comfortable with and then beat up on people who are not as ruined as him, which, lucky him. All right, so a Tiana first pick is a signal for cleave. He definitely wants to go first. If you have a speed lead, that's a great time to use it. This account does not have one that's free to play. I have a Vanessa that I'm going to work on at some point. See the Vanessa there. But I think two of the most contested kind of free-to-play units are Raccoon and Theo. So I'm going to pick those first. Raccoon's great sustain. He's cleanse. He's command. And Theo's just, excuse me, Theo's just great damage. So he goes with Velajul Perna. Perna's his DPS. Velajul has his second bar boost. So he now has 2 bar boosters, kind of staking his claim to going first. Tessa is another great unit to build if you are free-to-play or something like that. And then also Chilling's another really good unit. Chilling is a buff remover, a speed buffer, a crit rate buffer. He does lots of good stuff. So those are the 2 I'm going to pick, especially against double fire like we're looking at here. All right, he has the Dark Monkey, which is a defense break and a stunner. And then the Praha is a buff remover and a sustain. So our last pick's kind of tricky because we're stuck with a lot of nat 5s. You could bring a Vero. Vero's not ideal. But he's an option. Another form of sustain would be nice. Basalt would be something I would do. Even Bella's not terrible. My Bella is okay. So we're going to bring Bella. So this is the most obtainable team. You can farm Tessa. You can obtain the Chilling if you get lucky with pulls. And then the other ones are all 3 stars or, the Theo you can also obtain. So that's the plan. So what do we ban here? We've got lots of ways to deal with buff removal, which is great. I think this guy's the biggest problem because he's the crowd control. He's got the defense break and the stun. So we're going to ban him. He also has a stun on 1, I assume, like all the other monkeys, yes. And the defense break on his second skill. So the Perna is the big problem here. He bans the Raccoon, which is kind of the thing that it's a pretty good ban. It's sustain, it's command. It'll be a lot of issues for my team. So what do I want to do? I think resist is a great lead in general. My crit's okay. So this will be interesting. We both pick resist. So neither one of us is probably going to land our buffs. The only issue this sort of free-to-play team has is you don't have a lot of ways to go first. And if you're just starting out in arena, or real-time arena, if you don't go first, you really want will runes. And if you're just starting out, you probably don't have access to will runes. Like my team doesn't have access to will runes. Not that it would matter with a Tiana going first. We kind of lucked out that he didn't choose to defense break first turn. Since I had no will runes, that kind of makes more sense because he could have gotten a kill with the Perna there. He really doesn't like that Chilling. Alright, so we're going to buff up our speed and our crit. We're going to get started on the Perna here. Heal up with Bella. And we don't have an option to actually land this yet. We'll just keep working on the Tessa. Try to remove all the buffs. And now our goal is to, unfortunately, I think we might kill him. Let's see. If we don't kill him, that's kind of what we're hoping for. We just got him. So we were hoping to Tessa him so that he wouldn't get his second life, but that didn't work. That's okay. He really wants that Chilling, but he's intentionally not using his Perna to its full effect by attacking a water monster, so we're kind of okay with that. That's working to our favor. If he only knew how squishy our Bella was, it would not have taken him 2 or 3 turns to kill. So we're dealing with his damage now. Now we got to choose. Out of the 3 targets, the heal or the defense break is our next target. That's the Tiana. I don't think we want to use this yet because his Velajewel's almost back off cooldown. We want to wait for the Velajewel to buff before we buff remove. We're in a pretty good spot here. We have 3 defense breakers to his 0. He only has 1 form of sustain. And as long as Bella's alive, we can deal with his immunity. Oh, wow, he did leave. Wow. That was maybe one we didn't deserve to win, but we kind of lucked out with that free-to-play team there. So there's a lot going on there that's very balanced. The only issue you're going to have is, like I said, going second without will runes or not having a easy way to go first. So another option here would be an Orion. I didn't make the Orion here, or a Bernard. If you have any speed leads, those can be really good. The most common speed leads are Vanessa, Sierra, and then now we've got the Fire Chakram, which is also kind of hard to obtain, but at least it's a 4-star. All right, so Sierra first pick. We're going to go with our free-to-play options again. And what's nice about this team is you don't have to really think too much. It kind of does its work for you. There's only a few really kind of viable monsters here, so we're going to use them to the extreme. We're going to leave Tessa on the bench for now because we're looking at double water and we're looking at no passives. So we'll go ahead and go straight to the Bella. And he goes double wind. So he's got wind and water. So if I had a good wind unit, this would be a good time to use it. So my Eladriel would be good here. But I'm not going to use it because it's Nat 5. Obviously, that would be good. Molong would be good. But we're going to try to pick something free to play. Shannon's not horrible. And Mav is also not great, but he brings a little bit to the table for free to play. So I think we're going to go with Mav. If I had a Bernard built up, we would do the Bernard. Okay, so out of our options here, it's unfortunate because he's got a lot of problems for us. Well, I was thinking he'd ban the Raccoon. He's got the Varad and the Hathor are both issues for control. I think the Hathor's a little scarier because she locks you down longer. We've got lots of ways to deal with the Wusa, so this comp will not worry about Wusa. He's got defense break in Ethna and lots of ignored defense damage in Ciara. So this is a really tough matchup for our composition. Yep, and some Cooney, interesting. So he does not want me breaking out of any crowd control at all. And we'll go with crit rate lead, because that's all we've got. Yep. So our only cleanse here is Mav. Little baby cleanse in Mav. This team, it's not terrible. I'm tempted to build it on my main with like really good runes. I've seen people use Bella as a speed buffer, which is interesting because no one's ever going to ban Bella. And getting to launch into the game with Bella, ooh, this is tempting. So instead of the speed buff, I can take stuff off of Ciara. I think I will. So we fully cleanse Ciara, but I don't know how the turns are going to work. Ideally, Mav would have resisted that, and I could have cleansed the defense break, but my Mav's not built for any of that, obviously. My Mav is a TOA Mav. That's a nice damage Ciara, wow. Okay, so definitely didn't win this one, but theoretically, had we been able to go first, or if we had any will runes to resist all that, his opener, we would have had an okay chance. So it's more about bringing certain roles to every fight and not getting locked out of certain roles. You don't want to be in a place where you don't have a defense break. You don't want to be in a place where you have no way to remove buffs. Because if you don't, then you're forced to either just sit there for forever or deal with their immunity. So that's not what you want. We can look at the runes real quick on these monsters. There's nothing extraordinary about them. The Theo I built a little bit tanky. Speed is super important. He's 195. The faster the better in RTA. That's just the way it goes. The Raccoon is 210 on Violent as well, so not horrible. The Bella is a dungeon build, 180-ish. Let's see here. We brought the Mav. That's our TOA Mav. And what else do we bring? Oh yeah, Tessa. So my Tessa's built pretty tanky. Speed, HP, not fully maxed up. So ideally, I would rune the Orion, and I think for my next crack at this, I will rune up the Orion, because I think Orion brings an interesting threat to the table that they have to deal with right away. So if you're looking to build your first RTA team, I would suggest basing it around those kind of free-to-play monsters because they fulfill multiple roles. They're all pretty good, and you won't regret like having a Raccoony. Like you might lose, but it's still a good thing to bring to the fight. The other thing I always want to mention that will influence every fight you participate in is your glory buildings. So, for instance, if I ever fight someone fully maxed glory buildings, let's say I'm trying to hit them with my Theo and my Water Sanctum's on level 2. It gives me 3% additional attack. If theirs is maxed, they're getting like 15%, I think. So they're already 12% ahead of me on attack. And then if they're, let's see if I can find the fight building. Light, this one. So this is another like 15-ish% attack. So now they're 30% ahead of me on attack. If they have the crit damage maxed and I don't, you can see where this is going. If they have HP and defense maxed, they're 20, 30% tankier than me, and they're hitting 30% harder. The odds of being able to compensate for that amount of damage or stat differential just based on runes is very, very, very difficult. So if you're not farming these glory buildings, farm them up every day. They are super, super important. So a couple quick matches. We had 1 win, 1 loss, and technically another win where the person left. So that is my first kind of attempt into reaching Conk. I would say play as much as you can to get experience. This account's played a decent amount. The win rate is under 50%, which makes sense because my main's win rate is like 55%. So it's all very close. We're still 7% away in the rankings climbing to Conk, and it's going to get harder and harder as we move up because we will take less points and win less points. So that is our first look into making Conk as a fairly new player. This account's about a year old, so that gives you a sense of where it's going. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.